Picture this. You wake up on your 50th birthday feeling fine. Maybe a little tired, but fine. You head to work, you do your usual thing, and somewhere in the back of your mind you think, all right, 50. That's just a number. And here's the thing. You're not wrong to feel that way. Because most of the changes that happen inside a 50-year-old Australian body are invisible. They're happening quietly in your cells, your hormones, your heart, and your brain, long before you feel a single symptom. But here's what separates the Australians who thrive in their 60s from those who struggle. The ones who thrive found out what was happening before it became a problem. That's exactly what this video is. Not a scare story, a preparation guide. 7 changes, 7 actions. Let's go.
Change number 1. Your muscle mass is quietly disappearing, and most Australians have no idea it's already started. From the age of 30, your body loses roughly 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. That sounds manageable, but here's what changes at 50. The rate accelerates. Scientists call it sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And in Australia, it's one of the most underdiagnosed contributors to weight gain, fatigue, and poor metabolic health in people over 50. Why does it matter so much? Because muscle isn't just about strength. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. The more muscle you carry, the more efficiently your body burns energy, regulates blood sugar, and protects your joints. Lose the muscle, and everything downstream gets harder. The research is crystal clear on what stops this. Not cardio, resistance training. 2 to 3 sessions per week using compound movements. Squats, rows, press, hinge. You don't need a gym. You need progressive load applied consistently. Your action step for change 1. Start resistance training this week. Not next month, this week. 2 sessions, 30 to 40 minutes each. If you've never done it before, start with body weight only and add resistance over time. The mechanism is the progression, not the weight. One more thing. Pair resistance training with 30 to 40 grams of protein at each meal, and you've just activated the most powerful muscle preservation system your body has.
Change number 2. Your hormones are shifting, and this affects men and women very differently. For Australian men, testosterone levels decline by approximately 1 to 2% every year after 30. By 50, that cumulative decline is real and measurable. You may notice it as reduced drive, slower recovery after exercise, changes in body composition, or a general flatness that's hard to name. It's not in your head, it's in your blood work. For Australian women, the picture around 50 is even more significant. Perimenopause and menopause trigger a sharp decline in estrogen. And this isn't just about hot flushes. Estrogen has been protecting your cardiovascular system. When it drops, LDL cholesterol can rise, blood pressure changes, your sleep architecture is disrupted, and your risk of cardiovascular disease increases. Australian research from the University of Sydney's Westmead Centre confirms that this transition is one of the most critical windows for cardiovascular prevention in women's health. What you do in your late 40s and early 50s directly shapes your cardiovascular health in your 60s. That window is now. Your action step for change 2? Get a full hormone panel as part of your next blood test. Ask your GP specifically for testosterone or estrogen levels, depending on your biology, not just the standard checks. Knowledge is the first intervention. Change number 3. Your heart and arteries are working harder. And in Australia, this is the change that costs the most lives. According to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, coronary heart disease prevalence rises from just 2.2% in Australians aged 45 to 54 to dramatically higher levels in the decades that follow.
The Australian Health Index 2025 found that 1 in 9 adult Australians currently lives with elevated heart disease risk. 1 in 9. That's someone in every family. After 50, the arterial walls naturally stiffen slightly. Your heart has to generate more pressure to push blood through the same pathways. Blood pressure creeps upward, silently, in people who feel completely well. This is why cardiovascular disease is called the silent killer in Australia, because it announces itself with a cardiac event, not a warning. The preparation window is the decade before the event, and you're in it right now. Your action step for change 3. Book a cardiovascular health check with your GP this month. Ask for blood pressure, fasting lipids, blood glucose, and if you're male and over 50, ask about your cardiovascular risk score. In Australia, this check is often covered by Medicare. There is no reason not to do it. Book it this week.
Change number 4. Your bones are losing density, and most Australians won't find out until they break one. Peak bone mass is typically reached around age 35. After that, a process called resorption, where the body breaks down bone tissue faster than it rebuilds it, begins to widen the gap. By 50, that gap is measurable. For Australian women after menopause, the rate of bone loss accelerates significantly due to falling estrogen levels. For men, it's slower but equally real. Osteoarthritis, which affects the joints, is the top 5 burden condition for Australian women aged 45 to 64, according to the AIHW's 2024 Burden of Disease report. And while osteoarthritis and bone density are different processes, they share a common solution: mechanical loading. Your bones respond to stress the way your muscles do, by getting stronger. Weight-bearing exercise, particularly resistance training and walking on varied terrain, signals the bone remodelling process to maintain density. Calcium and vitamin D3 are the nutritional inputs that make that process possible. Your action step for change 4? Get your vitamin D level tested. Deficiency affects 40 to 50% of Australians and directly impairs bone density. If you haven't had a DEXA bone density scan and you're a woman over 50, ask your GP for a referral. In many cases, it's Medicare covered. Change number 5. Your metabolism is slowing at the cellular level. And in Australia right now, this is becoming a public health crisis. The Wesfarmers Health Index 2025, which drew on 3.6 million health checks across Australia, found that obesity continues to rise and diabetes risk is increasing, with demand for diabetes and weight management medications surging to record levels. The Australians driving that statistic are predominantly in the 45 to 65 age group. Here's what's happening biologically. After 50, your mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside every cell, become less efficient. Your insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning your body needs more insulin to process the same amount of glucose. The diet that maintained your weight at 35 now produces different results at 52. Not because you're doing anything wrong, because the biology has shifted. The most evidence-based response is not to eat less, it's to change what and when you eat. Prioritising protein and fibre at every meal, reducing refined carbohydrates, and avoiding large meals late at night are the 3 inputs that most directly restore insulin sensitivity after 50. Your action step for change 5. Ask your GP for a fasting blood glucose test and an HbA1c reading, the 3-month average blood sugar marker. Catching pre-diabetes early in Australia means catching it before the intervention becomes major. Change number 6. Your brain is changing at 50, and this is the change Australians fear most. Let's be precise about what is actually happening, because the fear of cognitive decline is often worse than the reality at 50.
What does slow down measurably after 50 is processing speed, the rate at which your brain handles new information. You may notice it takes slightly longer to recall a name, to shift between tasks, or to learn a new system at work. That's real. That's the processing speed change. What does not decline, and in fact continues to grow, is crystallised intelligence. The wisdom, pattern recognition, and contextual understanding that comes from decades of lived experience. The 50-year-old Australian brain is not less capable, it is differently capable. What the research is clear on is this: the lifestyle factors that slow cognitive decline are the same factors we've been discussing throughout this video. Cardiovascular health, sleep quality, physical activity, and two additional inputs: genuinely new learning skill and sustained social connection. Your action step for Change 6. Choose one genuinely new skill to begin learning this month. Not reviewing something you already know, something that requires your brain to build new pathways. A language, a musical instrument, a new physical skill. And prioritise one meaningful social connection this week. Australian research consistently shows isolation is one of the strongest predictors of cognitive decline after 60.
Change number 7. Your sleep is changing in ways that affect everything else, and most Australians think it's just part of getting older. It is part of getting older, but that doesn't mean nothing can be done about it. After 50, the proportion of slow-wave deep sleep, the restorative stage that repairs tissue, consolidates memory, clears metabolic waste from the brain, and regulates hormones, decreases. You may find yourself waking earlier, sleeping lighter, or feeling less restored despite being in bed for 8 hours. That's not insomnia. That's a normal architectural shift in how your sleep cycles are structured. The downstream effects are significant. Poor deep sleep accelerates every other change we've discussed today. It raises cortisol, impairs insulin sensitivity, reduces muscle protein synthesis, increases cardiovascular risk, and directly impairs cognitive performance. Sleep is not separate from your health. Sleep is the foundation of your health. 3 changes that produce the biggest measurable improvement in sleep quality after 50. First, fix your wake time before your bedtime. Consistency in wake time is the most powerful circadian anchor available. Second, keep your bedroom below 18 degrees Celsius. Core temperature must drop to initiate deep sleep. Third, eliminate alcohol within 3 hours of sleep. It fragments your sleep architecture, even when it helps you fall asleep. Your action step for Change 7? Implement one of these 3 changes tonight. Not all 3, just one. Build from there. 7 changes. Let me bring them together. Muscle loss, hormonal shift, cardiovascular changes, bone density decline, metabolism and blood sugar, brain and cognition, sleep architecture. Every single one of these is real, measurable, and happening in every Australian body that crosses the 50-year mark. And every single one of them responds to the right inputs. The Australians who are living well at 65 and 70 aren't lucky. They aren't genetically exceptional. They understood what was happening in their bodies before the problems arrived. They made small, consistent decisions, year after year, in the preparation window that you are in right now. That is the Decade Body promise. Not to stop time, to help you understand it, so you can work with your biology rather than be blindsided by it. Drop a comment below with the change that surprised you most. I'll read every single one of them. And if this video gave you something useful, please share it with one Australian you know who is approaching 50. They will genuinely thank you. Subscribe to Decade Body, because next week we're covering the one thing happening to Australian hearts after 50
most GPs don't mention until it's too late. This is Decade Body. Know your decade, own your health.